Senate will come to order. Mr. Carpenter, please call the roll.
Senators Aguilar,
Excused.
Baumgardner, Cook, Coram, Court, Crowder, Donovan, Finberg, Fields, Garcia, Gardner, Guzman, Hill, Holbert, John, Jones, Kagan, Kafalis, Kerr, Lambert, Lumberg, Marble, Martinez-Huminick, Merrifield, Moreno, Neville, Priola, Scott,
Excused.
Smallwood, Sonnenberg, Tate, Todd, Williams, Zinzinger,
Excused. I think we're good.
Mr. President.
Excused. Here. With 32 present, 0 absent, 3 excused, we have a quorum. Senator Gardner, please come and lead us in the pledge.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, guests, members, friends in the gallery and in the lobby, please join me in the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the journal, Senator Smallwood.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the reading of the journal of Wednesday, January 31st, be dispensed with, and the journal be approved as corrected by the Secretary.
You've heard the motion. Is there any objection? Seeing none, the motion is adopted. Committee reports.
January 31st, 2018 Committee on Education. After consideration of the Mayor's Committee recommends the following. Senate Bill 101 be referred to Committee of the Whole. The favorable recommendation be placed on the consent calendar.
Senate Services.
Correctly printed, Senate Bill 157. Correctly engrossed, Senate Bill 69.
Majority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate proceed out of order for a moment of personal privilege.
The motion before the body is for the Senate to proceed out of order for a moment of personal privilege. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the Senate will proceed out of order for a moment of personal privilege. Senator Donovan.
Mr. President, I request a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, we would like to take a moment this morning to pause and celebrate and acknowledge why we are all wearing red. And along those lines, we do have a tribute that it says, we extend our heartiest congratulations and commendation to the American Heart Association in recognition of the organization's ongoing fight against heart disease and stroke in women through increasing awareness, speaking out about heart disease, and empowering women to reduce their risk for cardiovascular disease. We hereby declare Thursday, February 1st, 2018, as National Wear Red Day.
Senator Martinez-Huminick.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, as you may or may not know, cardiovascular disease kills 1 in 3 women in the United States, yet 80% of those deaths are preventable. Every 80 seconds in the United States, a woman dies from cardiovascular disease or stroke. An estimated 44 million women in the United States are affected by cardiovascular diseases. 90% of women or more have 1 or more factors for developing heart disease and stroke. Women are less likely to call 911 for themselves when experiencing symptoms because often they don't know what the symptoms are for a heart attack or stroke. Only 36% of African American women and 34% of Hispanic women know that heart disease is their greatest health risk, compared to 65% of Caucasian women. The American Heart Association's Go Red for Women movement motivates you to remind your wives and daughters and sisters and mothers to learn their family history and meet with healthcare providers to determine their risk for cardiovascular diseases and stroke. We are recognizing today all of those in the chamber, so if you do have red on, would you please stand up and be recognized in support of Wear Red Day? I wanted to also mention that on your desks, Senators, you do have a pin that was provided by the American Heart Association. It is a red dress, and this is so that you can wear that today in honor of Wear Red Day for cardiovascular disease awareness. The other thing I wanted to mention is that cardiovascular disease doesn't just affect women. We had a survivor there this morning at the breakfast. That was a man. And we realized that this affects men as well. And cardiovascular disease, which was not known, also caused me to lose a very dear family member in December. And no one knew, including him, that he had the heart problem. So it's very important that we continue our advocacy and make sure that both men and women are going to their providers and making sure that they have healthy hearts.
Senator Williams.
Thank you, Mr. President. And members, I rise in support of Wear Red Day and cardiovascular disease because it runs in my family. All of you know that last year my mother went through some cardiovascular, she went through double bypass heart surgery, and I think it's so important that we understand our history, our medical history, because this goes back way, way back to my great-great-grandfather is what we found out. And as women, I want to encourage us to continue to listen to our bodies because we don't have the same symptoms that men do that are more overt. My mother, when her episode started, she woke up at 2:30 in the morning and had an excruciating pain, which was in her back. Never thought it was her heart, but it was so excruciating. She did call 911, which probably saved her life, even though she went through double bypass surgery. So women, let's listen to our bodies. Men, pay attention and keep yourselves healthy as much as you can and understand our DNA and our history of our medical in our family. So thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Fields.
Thank you, Mr. President. I stand in strong support for the American Heart Association and Wear Red today, and want to talk about my own generational background as it relates to heart disease. My mother's mother had complications with diabetes, which ultimately caused her to have heart failure. My grandmother also had diabetes, and she suffered from a heart attack. Growing up with my grandmother, she used to always take and eat Tums, because she always thought that she had indigestion. But what she was having is probably, her arteries were probably clogged. But she didn't go get that checked out because she was too busy worrying about everyone else. So one thing that we all have in common is our hearts. And what we should do is take care of our hearts. And the way we do that is through exercise, it's through diet, it's through making sure that we do everything possible to be healthy. My mother also died of heart failure. So wearing red and knowing the bloodline that I come from, I try to be very cautious of exercise and diet and fitness, and I encourage all you all to do the same. Thank you, Mr. President.
I think we're good. Committee reports.
January 31st, 2018. The Committee on State, Veterans, and Military Affairs has had on consideration and had a hearing on the following appointments and recommends the appointments be placed on the consent calendar and confirmed. Members of the Fire and Police Pension Association Board of Directors for terms expiring September 1st, 2021. Suzanne Janine Morgan of Lone Tree, Colorado, to serve as a representative of Colorado Municipal Employers, reappointed. Karen Marmon Frame of Greenwood Village, Colorado, to serve as an individual from the state's financial or business community, experienced in personnel or corporate administration occasioned by the resignation of Sean Michael Turner of Denver, Colorado, appointed.
Majority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to proceed out of order for a moment of personal privilege.
The motion is for the Senate to proceed out of order for a moment of personal privilege. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Ayes have it, and the Senate will proceed out of order for a moment of personal privilege. Senator Priola.
Thank you, Mr. President. I request a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you. Members, today, with the Pyongyang Winter Olympics a week away, I want to honor and pay tribute to a unique Coloradan. Take a moment to speak about a unique individual from Vail, Colorado, who will be representing the United States in the Winter Olympics in Pyongyang. Michaela Schifrin is currently preparing for a highest level of downhill skiing competition and is unable to accept this accolade in person. But she and her family appreciates the recognition and support she is receiving from the state legislature. We traded emails earlier this week, and she's over in Europe training to then go to compete there and then move over to Asia. Schifrin's meteoric rise into the World Cup elite wasn't a surprise. Schifrin posted her first World Cup starts as a 15-year-old and nearly scored her first points. Her first podium happened a year later in 2012. In 2013, Schifrin became the first U.S. Slalom World Cup champion since Tamara McKinney in the 83-84 season. She backed it up in 2014 with title number 2 by notching 5 wins, and again in 2015 with 5 more wins, 3 straight World Cup slalom titles. She became the youngest woman in U.S. history to win a world championship and the youngest athlete in history to win an Olympic slalom gold medal. Schifrin has notched 31 World Cup wins across 3 disciplines and holds the U.S. record in slalom. She snagged her first giant slalom victory in 2015 at the season opener in Soledad, and added 3 more to her trophy case in 2017, including a sweep in Semmering and a win, I apologize for the pronunciation, and a win on home soil in Squaw Valley, California. She also won her first Alpine combined in Krems, Switzerland in 2017. In 2016, saw an opener in Aspen. Schifrin blew away a 34-year-old winning drought in Aspen, with no American woman standing on top of the Audi FIS World Cup Championship podium at Aspen since Tamara McKinney won in 1981. Schifrin won all 5 of the slalom races she competed in during the 2016 season. She did it by a combined time of 10.56 seconds. That is 2.11 second average per victory. For those of you who don't follow ski racing, that's light years. Most races are won by 1/10 of a second or less. Hundredths, yes. That's huge. 2017 at the St. Moritz, Switzerland World Championship, Schifrin grabbed her 3rd straight slalom title. Michaela joined an elite group of American skiers in 2017, becoming just the 5th to win an overall title, and she did it a mere 22 years old. She also won her 4th World Cup slalom title and was 2nd overall in the giant slalom standings. In 2017, Schifrin had an impressive season, grabbing 6 slalom victories, 3 giant slalom victories, and 1 Alpine combined victory to her trophy case. Add to that her 3rd straight World Cup slalom title and a silver medal in the giant slalom St. Moritz, Switzerland, along with her 4th career World Cup slalom title and her first ever overall title. With 4 giant slalom victories and an alpine combined victory, it is safe to say the future is bright for Schifrin heading into the big Olympic year. We at the Colorado Legislature wish Michaela the best of luck at the 2018 Olympic Games in Pyongyang, South Korea. Go, Michaela.
I think that deserves a hand. Mr. Carpenter, would you please add Senator Scott to the roll? Majority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. President. In the interest of my esteemed co-sponsor, I move to lay over third reading of bills to follow General Order's second reading of bills consent calendar.
Motion is to lay over third reading of bills, final passage, till after second reading of bills consent calendar. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it, and that will lay over. General Order second reading of bills consent calendar. Senator Fenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for consideration of General Order second reading of bills consent calendar.
The motion before the body is for the Senate to resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for consideration of the General Order second reading of bills consent calendar. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the Senate will resolve itself in the Committee of the Whole for consideration of the General Order second reading bills consent calendar. Senator Fenberg will take the chair.
The committee will come to order. The co-roll is relaxed. Will the clerk please read the titles to all the bills on the General Order second reading of bills consent calendar?
Senate Bill 67 by Senators Zenzinger and Priola and Representative Kraft-Tharp, concerning the ability of certain organizations conducting a special event to auction alcohol beverages in sealed containers for fundraising purposes under specified circumstances. Senate Bill 105 by Senator Baumgardner and Representative Pabon, concerning clarifying changes to provisions that were contained in House Bill 1367. Senate Bill 76 by Senator Lundberg and Representative Melton, concerning a ban on vote trading.
Majority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move the 3 bills on the General Order second reading of bills consent calendar, consisting of Senate Bill 67, along with the committee report from Business, Labor, and Technology, Senate Bill 105, and Senate Bill 76.
Is there any discussion on any of the committee reports? The motion before the body is the adoption of all the one report to the bill on the General Order second reading of bills consent calendar. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. I'm sorry, guys. And the reports are adopted. Is there any discussion on any of the bills on the consent calendar? The motion before the body is the adoption of all the bills on the General Order second reading of bills consent calendar. All of those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Without hearing any no's whatsoever, the ayes have it and the bills are adopted. Majority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move the committee rise and report.
The motion is for the body to rise and report. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Again, hearing no no's, the ayes have it and the motion is adopted. The committee will rise and report.
Permission to offer a conceptual amendment to the Committee of Whole that Senator Fenberg did not actually chair. Yeah, I would like to cow it. My cow will say that Senator Fenberg did not chair.
Senate will come back to order. Senator Fenberg.
The committee has had a number of bills under consideration. Will the clerk please read the report?
Mr. President, your Committee of the Whole begs leave to report out on consideration of the following attached bills being the second reading thereof, makes the following recommendations thereon. Senate Bill 67 is amended. Senate Bill 105, Senate Bill 76, passed in second read order and gross and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage.
Senator Fenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the adoption of the report.
Motion before the body is the adoption of the report to the Committee of the Whole. Are there any no votes? With 33 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 2 excused, the Committee of the Whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 67 is amended, Senate Bill 105, Senate Bill 76. Passed on second reading, ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Majority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. President. In the interest of my esteemed co-sponsor on Senate Bill 69, I move to lay over the balance of the calendar until tomorrow so that she would have an opportunity to vote on our bill, Senate Bill 69.
Chris, you want to talk, just lay over the third reading of the bills, not the balance of the calendar, right?
We're at the end.
I've got, that doesn't include the sponsorship change, signing of bills.
I apologize, I was looking at the calendar. You want me to withdraw?
No, we're good with that.
Okay.
The motion is to lay over the balance of the calendar till tomorrow. All those in favor say aye. Thank you, Senator Kafalis. All opposed, no. The aye has it, and the balance of the calendar will lay over. Sponsorship change. Representative Van Winkle will be added as joint prime sponsor on Senate Bill 67 with Senator Zenzinger and Priola and Representative Kraftharp. Signing of bills.
The President has signed House Joint Resolution 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008, 1009, and 1010.
Announcements. Senator Kerr.
Thank you, Mr. President. Partially in celebration of Wear Red Day for Women's Health today, I want to announce a day next Friday, February 9th, is Winter Bike to Work Day. And this is the official Winter Bike to Work Day next Friday, February 9th, and you can sign up ahead of time. Now, being a bike commuter myself, one of the things that's very important is if there's a day you're definitely planning to ride your bike to work, that shouldn't be the first day you ride your bike to work. You should practice. So that's why over a week ahead of time, I'm letting you know. You can bring some clothes into your office to change out of and maybe practice the route getting here. So just want everyone to know, and you can go to the Dr. Cog website or the Bicycle Colorado website and sign up for Winter Bike to Work Day next Friday, February 9th. Thank you.
Senator Hill.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, just to clarify, that's Winter Right to Work Day. Senator Kerr continues to misconstrue what it is. It's a great bipartisan movement. Winter Right to Work Day next week. I'll be joining him.
Senator Martinez-Humenick.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, the Joint Technology Committee is going to be meeting in room 271, and we will be meeting 20 minutes after the Senate floor is adjourned. Also, I would like to just remind folks that tomorrow is Deputy Gumb's funeral, and I have asked permission to be gone tomorrow, and the city of Thornton did a proclamation that asked everybody in Colorado to wear blue tomorrow in honor of Deputy Gumb.
Senator Neville.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, we will be meeting in Finance at, let's say, 5 after the hour of 10 in our usual room. See you then.
Any other announcements? Majority Leader Holbert. Oh, okay.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, we will not have bills to read over later today, so we will go ahead and adjourn. Have a successful, productive day in committee. Mr. President, I move that the
Majority Leader, before you go, we need to read one committee report across, and then we'll do the motion. Committee reports.
January 31st, 2018, Committee of Business, Labor, and Technology. After consideration, the Mayor's Committee recommends the following. Senate Bill 2 be amended as follows as submitted before the Committee of the Whole. A favorable recommendation.
Announcements. Senator Todd.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I would like to invite you to please welcome the group of folks that are in the chamber today for Developmental Pathways. We are delighted to have you here, delighted to have the work that you do to serve so many of our citizens in Colorado. So please join me in welcoming them to the Capitol today.
Senator Martinez-Humana.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I may have made an error and said joint technology. It's actually joint local government that will be meeting in 20 minutes after we adjourn in room 271.
Majority Leader Holbert.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate adjourn until 9 a.m. Friday, February 2nd, Groundhog Day 2018.
Motion before the body is for the Senate to adjourn until Friday, February 2nd, 9 a.m., Groundhog Day. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it, and we will be adjourned.